Well, good morning. Happy Friday, TGIF. Super excited for this week's topic. I was actually thinking about it last night and just kind of going over my notes and all of the different things that I wanted to share with you. And this is something that I will say almost everyone that I've coached or encountered or worked with has struggled with, including myself. And I thought, what better time than to come and share and address with you guys as the weekend is upon us, as a holiday weekend, nonetheless, is upon us. So I'm really excited about today's topic and how to stay on track over the weekend with your fitness and nutrition goals. So, let me just start back up by saying, I have been there. When I first started my health and fitness journey, it, it literally was when we were in college. Sorry. And when I first got to college, the newness of being on your own and all of that freedom came with that, all the things you could eat and drink, right? And they call it the freshman 15 for a reason. And so the first couple weeks of school, I fell into that trap just like everybody else. We were out late, we would eat late, we would eat a lot, we would eat often. And I started to feel those pants getting tighter and tighter. And so essentially, a group of girls that I hung out with, we decided we're going to go and hang out in the college gym and walk the treadmill or run on the treadmill. And that should help us to keep our pants on, right? Fitting the right way. Sorry. Sorry. I took a drink before I went live and it totally went down the wrong pipe. Okay. So when we started to exercise, we were able to keep those pounds at bay, right? And then when I was done with college, I came home and kind of found myself a little bit lost in some regards. So I quickly found something else to do, but literally my mindset was if I basically starve myself and kill myself in my workouts all week long, then I can eat and drink and do whatever I want to on the weekends. And, this was before kids and stuff. So I will say that maybe worked to a point. But then after a while, it kind of got like this cycle, right? I would really feel awesome all week long when I was doing my workouts and all the things. And I would potentially lose weight in those, 4 or 5 days. And then on Monday, feel like I had gained it all back and then some. And it was this perpetual roller coaster. But what I didn't really realize what was happening was this was such a mindset that was there versus really worrying or having the knowledge about fitness and nutrition, right? So it was before I was even a part of this, it was before I knew anything about nutrition or fitness or any of that. So I just was kind of going with that mindset. And that was a lot of years that I did that. So I always say I kind of ruined my whole thought process because today I still carry a lot of that baggage with me. And I know that there are so many people that feel like they do great all week, for certain reasons. And then it just comes undone on the weekend, again, for certain reasons. So today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite tips so that you could take and grab these tangible nuggets and apply them this weekend while you're out and about. And hopefully work on practicing how to avoid these pitfalls in the future. Okay. I will also say that it's taken some time for me to kind of get there, right? It is now a decade in this business that I've been a fitness professional. 20 something years that I have been doing workouts, fitness, exercise of some nature, and trying to figure out the nutrition piece. So I will say that I've always been a lover of fitness. It's like that high that you get. It's the feeling of euphoria afterwards. The nutrition part has always been something that was an afterthought, right? That I was struggled to add that piece of the pie to. And I know I'm not alone. So I think that this is a fantastic topic and way for us to kick off this weekend, because this definitely is everybody's biggest struggle that I coach, that I come into contact with. So a number one kind of thing is to really know what your triggers are. Okay. So this is a huge mindset piece, right? We are telling ourselves, I have to restrict myself. I can't drink wine. I can't have dessert. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do the other thing. So we have already told ourselves a story that we've kind of taken ourselves out of the equation. This isn't going to work for me. Weekends are my downfall. Say la vie, it is what it is, right? So instead of kind of going down that rabbit hole with that thought processes, like stop yourself, right? And we need to really kind of think about planning mentally our week ahead. What does it look like? What are we doing? Are we a family that has a lot of sports happening? Do we work a job or two? What is that like? Is it days? Is it nights? Right? Maybe the week is good for you because you're pretty much alone, right? You're either a working person and you're on your own or something for most of the day, except for dinner time with the family. And then the weekends, maybe you're busy with sports or you're away from home or something to that effect, right? So we want to really just be like cognizant of our time, like what's happening, right? And so if it helps you, get out your planner or get out a piece of paper and sort of map out what the week looks like, right? These are what the days look like during the week, and then here's what's happening on the weekend. And then I would also take it a next step by asking yourself, like, why is this happening? What goes through your head as you approach the weekend? So for me, because I was on this horrible like roller coaster slide, as the days would approach, it would be Friday. And in my head, I would go, where are we going this weekend? What are we eating? What restaurants? Like it was literally in my headscape to eat as much crap as possible. Like whether it was, junk food at home or how many different restaurants could we go to, granted back in the day, inflation isn't what it is now. So that wouldn't probably fly in your family or your household, right? But it really was my thought process. What are we going to have? And it started on Friday night and it went Friday night, Saturday all day, and Sunday all day and night. So those were like how many meals? Dinner, lunch and dinner. So 1, 2, 3, like 6 or 7 meals, right? That were like free for all, right? So I had to start thinking about what was happening to my mindset, and it was more or less like this was just like this freedom on the weekends, right? Because I wasn't working and I would be working all week long and then we would have this time off on the weekends. And so that was part of that process, right? So I started to think to myself, what if I could just keep it at include Fridays? I started to include Friday nights and be like, okay, I'm going to plan my meals and my week and I'm going to eat on my plan Monday through Friday, right? So then it was just left to Saturday and Sunday. And then I would slowly say, okay, I get up on Saturday, I do my workouts anyways. So, the healthy meals at the beginning of the day, and it turned into just Saturday night and maybe some of Sunday, right? Now, today things look a little bit different for me, and I'll kind of walk you through how I navigate my weekends today and what that looks like. But I really want you to be thinking about like what's going on, okay? And then I've got some tips and tricks for you guys, depending on what you have going on and how to navigate that stuff as well, okay? But the big part of it is planning ahead. And I will also say it takes practice, right? So don't be like, I'm going to go into the weekend and it's going to be perfect. And I'm going to take all these tips and apply them. Take a couple of these thoughts, jot them down, revisit this video again. And just take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, right? And practice. It's going to take some time to get used to it, and you're going to fail, and that's okay. And I'm going to tell you that failure is good. Yes, I want you to fail because I want you to learn from those lessons. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. Okay? So, the second thing that I suggest is for you to plan your treats. So there's 1 or 2 ways to kind of go about this, okay? You can either A, plan them into your days so that you don't feel deprived, right? And I'll use the containers as an example. So being a body partner for a number of years, I've used the containers. I've coached on the containers. I do a lot of different nutrition coaching aspects, but this is a really good example because it's a good visual. So with the containers, you get a number. It's a number of portions throughout the day, and then the containers are color coded so that you know like how many reds that's protein, how many yellows, those are carbs, how many blues, fats, things like that, right? So it just helps you to have that visual visual, and then you can kind of eyeball it, and it's cool because then you're like out in public and you're like, okay, so it's about the size of this and whatever, right? So for example, if you're going to plan into your day, like what I'll say to somebody is, okay, so if you want to have the cookies, those are considered carbs. There's probably a little fat to that. We could narrow that down, but just for the sake of argument, we're going to say cookies are yellows, and we're going to determine how many servings go into one of your yellows for the day, right? So granted, if you're getting, 3 or 4 yellows a day, that's one of your carbs right there. So you work in those cookies, and then you just eat the cookies whenever your time of day is to eat cookies. You've got your treat and you move on, right? So now you've worked it into your plan. Okay. Same thing with like chocolate fits in the containers, right? The other cool thing is you could do is, clean treats. You can make clean treats. So if it's like, okay, I'm really into baking or something, we could talk about what a clean treat substitute looks like versus something like Oreos or Chips Ahoy, right? Or something like that. So know that you have choices, right? And it's your choice. And, if it helps you to feel more in control, you have it be a part of your day and it counts. And you're also happy because it's cookies, or a cocktail or something. That's also something that you could work into your day. Okay. Yellows are your cocktails. And then the other aspect for planning treats that I like to say is plan a treat meal. And it's not a cheat, it's a treat. Okay. So a lot of what I'll talk about with you guys is that mindset piece. It's how you talk about food. It's how you reference food, how you feel about food. When you say you're going to have a cheat meal, what kind of a connotation does that have? It's a negative connotation, right? When you say it's a treat, it's more of a reward. It's a positive thing, and you deserved it, right? So, and for me, like, for example, now these days, I would say my threshold on it backfiring on me is about 1, maybe 2 meals, but really 1 is my threshold. If I just go out to dinner and we just eat whatever, it's 1 meal. You can obviously eat only so much in one sitting, right? You have the treat, and then the next day you're right back at it. So that's another way to look at it. It's something that you can work into your day and feel happy and satisfied that you had the things. And then you're moving on, or it's once a week, right? It's a treat once a week. It's a meal or 2 or something to that effect. Okay. So plan your treats. And I'm always thinking like, that's what you're looking out into advance. What are we doing this weekend? Are we going to go out? Do we have a party to go to? Like, what is happening, right? Are we going to be with friends? Is it my birthday? A lot like things like that, right? So you're thinking in advance, right? So that you have this mindset where you're looking forward to the treat, and it's okay. Not like, oops, crap, I ate pizza, right? Like, I'm going to order this pizza and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to savor and enjoy every single bite because this is not something that I do all of the time, right? So it's how you think about food. It's how you approach the situation. If it's planned out, it's a planned treat, you're good. You don't feel guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty. We're all about balance, right? We want to maintain that balance, but we also have to find the ways that are going to work best for us in our specific dynamic and how we are handling it and work that into our situation. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Now let's get into some specific things. Right. So say that there's a party or a gathering that you're going to. We're coming upon spring and summer. People are going to have cookouts and things like that. So a couple things that you can do there. You can ask to bring your own dish, right? So if you're bringing something that's healthy or something that you can eat and enjoy, then offer to bring that. And then that's something that you stick with at the party, right? Always go for like when people have veggies and dip, like eat all the veggies, drink all the water that you can, right? Like fill yourself up on those kinds of things rather than the garbage food when you go out. But I love that idea of bringing something that you feel is you're more in control of, something that you've cooked or created that you can bring with you, and you can do it as that. Another thought process is this is your treat. Right? You go to the party, it's a place, like for me, the place that we get invited to or the places that we go, it's all about the snacks and it's all about those fun foods, right? So we enjoy that. We have a great night and we move on the next day, right? Okay. What about when you have, you're away from home all day and you have sports to go to, the weekend is filled with, sporting events, or you're at game after game after game. Like, how do you handle that stuff? Right? Well, my first thing that I would say would be to pack. a lunch. Pack food for the whole day. If you know how long you're going to be away, pack a cooler. Bring all the things you would normally bring, right? If you know it's going to be a short while, like for me, I know that works really well is I consume my Shakeology. I drink it every day anyways, but it's like my to-go meal usually, so I can bring that with me to a sporting event, or I know that that will at least keep me full for several hours. So I can like, if I know I'm going to be away from the house for a couple hours, I'll make the Shakeology and I'll bring like a piece of fruit with me, or a handful of nuts and things, and like kind of make it sort of like a meal, right? And so having something that's going to satisfy you and hold you over is going to be really, really big. But again, planning ahead, right? If you're going to be away from home, don't be like, oh, they'll have concessions there. Let's just eat the crappy hot dogs, right? I mean, that could be your treat, but is that really a treat? I feel like you could do better, right? Than crappy hot dogs and concessions and things like that. So plan ahead, Okay, going out to restaurants. So once again, like I feel like this is going to be something like for me, I know myself, when I go to a restaurant, I'm ordering whatever I want off that menu because it's not something that we do on the regular, especially these days. But more so since we started the leading a healthy lifestyle, I would prefer to spend my money on things like Shakeology and healthier foods than to waste, $100 on 5 people at dinner or something, right? So I think about that a lot too, that, my kids are always like, let's go to T-Bones, let's go out to eat. And I'm like, you know what, guys, when we eat all together and include a couple of cocktails at our dinner, that's like a week's worth of groceries, right? Like think about that. And so now my economical self is like, I don't really want to go to dinner because I would rather buy like a bunch of chicken breast and a bunch of spinach and have like an amazing, or go to the store and buy like homemade crusts and make homemade pizzas at home or something like that. You know what I mean? And that serves you a little bit better financially too. Okay, but when we're out at a restaurant and we're going to order, this is either going to be our treat meal and you're going to enjoy yourself. Again, you're going to savor every moment. You're going to chew slowly. You're just going to enjoy your family, the friends, the people that you're with. That is the reason why we lead a healthy and a fit lifestyle, so that we can enjoy the moments that we're meant to, right? With our families. We're making memories. We're celebrating life, right? And food is part of that celebration. So it is okay to celebrate and indulge and love on that stuff, right? When you go on a vacation or going to do things like this, is why the rest of the time we're living a healthy and fit life. So we can do all of the other things that don't get to happen all of that often, right? So, one of the tips that I give my ladies inside of my group is we talk about a balanced plate, like building your plate out. So this is a great visual to have. And I love this. Anytime you're away from home, I use this method when I'm on vacation too. You have a balanced plate, build your plate, and there's 4 things that go on the plate. You've got a protein, a carb, a fat, and a vegetable. Okay. So if you build your plate out with a serving of each one, then you know that you're staying on track. Okay. Hey, dog intruder. So and what goes hand in hand with that, is the hand and palm method that you can use when you're away from home. Okay. So if you are looking at protein, it's the size of the palm of your hand. So piece of steak, a filet would fit in probably really nice right there. A piece of chicken. Your healthy fat could be cheese on a baked potato, right? There's your healthy carb. Your butter, or you could do salad dressing with the healthy fat is, salad with dressing is your healthy fat, right? That's 2 tablespoons. It's a thumb size. Your carbs are about a fist size, your vegetables about a fist size. Like you can think about it like that. Like use your hand to sort of eyeball what it is that you should be having for portions, right? And I know sometimes at places they give you double portions are huge. Take it home and eat it the next day, right? So you can do that as well. So you're either looking at building your balanced plate and you've got your 4 things. And if you want to even take it a step further, you can use your hands as measurements. So palm of your hand is your protein, healthy fat is a thumb, fist of vegetables, fist of carbs. So like a baked potato, rice, pasta, whatever. And I never like say in my head, oh, like, is it processed? Is it not? Like just worry about one thing. right? You could worry about all the things when it comes to nutrition. I mean, there's so much to know and but get better at, right? So when you're out and about, just worry about the portion sizes. You don't have to worry about is it processed? Is it pasta? Is it bread? You pick what's going to work best for you. You know yourself better than anybody else, okay? So when you're out at a restaurant, it's either a treat, you're balancing your plate with the four things, and you're using your hands, okay? And then vacation's a good one too. Vacation, I like to use the balanced plate method too. And I feel like for me, the mindscape that I use so that I don't overdo it too often is it's just 3 meals a day and trying not to snack, right? So, and maybe even sometimes I'll skip breakfast if I know that we're going to go over and above or go out to dinner or something, right? So, kind of a little bit of fasting there, right? Just depending on what you're doing. But if you could push your first meal out to like 11, 10, 11, something like that, right? You have one meal there, maybe double up on protein so it holds you over. And then you have your end of day meal too. But there are some little tricks that you can do there. So you're eating less, but you're still eating that balance and you're still in portions. Um, so those are kind of the things that I have in the back of my mind, but I've always got the balanced plate is just such a great and easy way to stay on track. We hear so many different, there's so much noise. There's so much noise on social media. Like it's no wonder why we're so confused. But I'm going to tell you that if you're seeing different things out there on social, like tracking macros, intermittent fasting, keto, all these different theories that people have, they are really advanced, right? And just know that when you are just focused on balance and building your plate, that's where most people are. When you're looking at some of these other things, that's just more advanced. And if you're just getting started or you're struggling to stay in one of those places, come back to the basics. Always come back to the basics. And I do that too. And I will tell people that people that compete, athletes like CrossFit or bodybuilders, bikini competitors, they eat a specific way for their sport, but it's only for a short period of time. Those types of nutritional theories are not meant to be forever. Okay, so once they're done with whatever their competition is, more than likely they'll go back to the balanced plate method. Okay, and then over time, you kind of get a feel of what you need. You need more protein, you need more carbs, you need more fat. Like your body will start to give you cues. Oh, this feels good. This doesn't feel so good, right? And I know for me, I will be able to tell when food digests easily or not so easily, right? Whether it's a potato versus rice or versus a bread or pasta, it just really, again, we are like snowflakes. There's no two of us that are alike. So a lot of this journey is going to be sort of like a fact-finding mission, okay? Not everybody can do keto. Not everybody can do intermittent fasting. And just because this person over here is showing you what's worked for them and they have whatever body style you're looking to achieve, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to work for you either. And fitness is the same way, right? Our bodies absorb things differently. Our bodies, take on things in a different way, right? Some people bulk up and look crazy when they weight train. Some people need more cardio than others, right? Like it just is so individualistic that it's super important for you to be in tune with what you need, right? So we're starting with that mindset piece. And then you've got a lot of tips and a lot of these different ones. We're talking about it's a treat. You're taking care of yourself, right? And then you're back at it the next day. So I was going to say to you now, it's a holiday weekend and what my weekends look like or what my mindset is going into the weekend, right? So we've already had a discussion with our family that we have been going back and forth about Easter baskets. I've got a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old. The 11-year-old gets the shaft on this stuff because I feel like I'm just so over worrying about hiding eggs and Easter baskets and all that. And he's like, I keep saying you're getting too old. And he's like, they did it last year, and so he's right. But we had the conversation where I was like, do you really want me to go out and buy you all this stuff? Or would you rather go out to a nice lunch after church? And so the 2 out of the 3 are like, let's go to lunch. So we have it in our thought processes that we're going to have a nice meal together on Sunday. And so that's my treat. That's my treat. So tonight, I still haven't decided what we're doing. We have some really awesome grass-fed beef from a cow that we have this year. So I was thinking burgers. Sometimes I eat the bun and sometimes I don't. But a lot of times, because my body does better with higher carbs and lower fat, so I'll do like the burger, the bun, and then we'll do potatoes in the air fryer, and then like I have a salad. My fat is usually my salad dressing, something that I've made or what have you. But it's my balance, right? So that's my balance, right? So I'm thinking about, we're got it covered today. I don't really know what we're doing yet tomorrow, but I get up and I get my workout in. I know we have flag football in the afternoon, but most likely we'll eat at home just because we've planned this outing on Sunday after church, right? So Sunday, we're going to wake up for the Easter service, sunrise service. Church is having breakfast, and then the regular service will be at 10:30, and then we'll go out. So my my process usually through the weekend is I've got this planned out. I've either gotten shopping or we'll shop on Saturday for dinner Saturday night, and then on Sunday, I don't typically have my first meal until after church. I also don't work out on Sundays. So my I feel like it's less calories for me also. Like you're wanting to think about your week in a whole. It's not really like the day to day, right? So add all the calories that you add that you ate all week, and then add all the exercise that you did, right? And that's where you're looking for your deficit in the week, not necessarily day by day. So I feel like sometimes if there's something where you overdid things, you can kind of counteract that with some of the fasting. But I will find that during the week, the fasting doesn't work as well for me because I am teaching a lot of metabolic conditioning classes that just gets me going. And I have my own workouts and I'm lifting weights and things like that. So I need to make sure that I'm having enough to eat during the week as well. So planning your week ahead, right? And then Monday I'm back to it, like literally Sunday night, probably, we'll be back to it for dinner if we, depending on what time Easter dinner is, right? Or lunch rather. Okay, so that was kind of all that I wanted to cover. I hope that you found this helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Also want to let you know that I have a big announcement coming. Now, I'm not really unveiling all of the details just yet, but I'm kind of trickling in some information through my newsletter and through email for those people that are interested. I've kind of hinted around that I've been wanting to create a nutrition masterclass or workshop or some really awesome course that's going to benefit you. And I've been getting a lot of feedback and a lot of thoughts from different ones based on also the clients that I have been coaching for the last couple of years, where they're at, where their biggest struggles are, and putting pieces of the puzzle together to help you guys. It's sort of designed to, number one, there's all this noise on social, right? No wonder why we're all confused. Like all the stuff is happening. Nobody knows how to get started. Nobody knows what's right for them. So this is going to be education to help you start from square one, to help you understand what's going to work best for you and your path. And then it's designed to educate you throughout the 12 weeks. And then by the end, you should be able to do it on your own. Right? So the idea is to teach you the tools and the method that I use for myself and my other clients and help you to learn so that you feel confident to fuel your body for your exercise and your activity levels and go off and be successful on your own. Okay? So if you're interested in learning more about when that's happening, giving me your thoughts and feedback, please send me your email and I'll put you on our newsletter list and you will be able to find out when that is coming in the next couple of weeks. I also have a questionnaire that I've been sending out that I would love your feedback on. What type of a course works best for you? Like, if is it video? Is it live Q&As? Do you like to be in a community? Those kinds of things. So I would love to also get your feedback so I know how to create the content to best serve you and to best get it into your hands and what that looks like for you. So send me your email or send me a message if you'd like to learn more, as it is coming up very soon. I'm super excited. It's so hard for me to like keep a lid on it. I know what I want to do, and I think I know when it's going to happen. It's just a matter of connecting the dots with you and what your needs are and how I can best serve you in this capacity. So super excited about that. I hope that this was helpful. Go back and rewatch your tips and your treats, and have a successful and wonderful Easter weekend. And as always, if you need anything or have questions, please feel free to send me a message or an email, and I'd be happy to